Okay, so Sloan, the main guy, the main man of the hour. So this has to be like one of the most interesting.
There's such a deep conversation.
I'm so outside of the loop when it comes to the music industry.
Right.
I'm so surface level with it.
Me and Tucker, yeah, that's what I was picking up.
But Jared, I would say that you're way more into it as far as personalities and artists. But when it comes to the creation of music and how to do it, that we were just like blindsided by. You know?
No way.
And I wouldn't say that Sloan, and he's even said it, that he's your everyday musician. Like, he's been the epitome of like figuring it out. Right. You know, just from step one, like not knowing how to read music.
Hey, they'll hear it.
I know, but it's still like an interesting part. Like, doesn't know how to read music, but look where he is.
Yeah, and doesn't know how he claims that he's like can't technically play any instruments. Yeah, which is hilarious.
And like
never had a vocal lesson.
Doesn't call himself an artist.
Yeah, very cool.
He's got like incredible insight on a lot of things.
Very cool.
And I mean, he's
got a very interesting angle of what the music industry can be, and what an artist is / does.
Yeah, what stood out to me was he's a very deep thinker. You can see it in his face too. Like, he's one of the guys, when he's thinking, you can see that he's really, really thinking. But not only that, he's really good at putting those thoughts into words. And so it was one of those things where like he would answer a question and be discussing what he was thinking, and then after he was done, like sometimes I just didn't even know what to say. I was just like, and I think you said at one point you're like, and it wasn't even the best answer he had given because it was pretty early on in the podcast, but you're like, that was the deepest answer that we've ever gotten. Right. And then he followed that up with many, many more thoughts. But
yeah, that's just who he is. It's very cool.
I'm afraid he didn't click to our personalities or your personality, which is totally fine. I think
it was just a completely different dynamic.
I think he enjoyed us, but yeah, I think it was definitely getting out of our comfort zone.
Yeah, which is very good.
And it turned out great. It was awesome. I just like wanted to keep talking about it and spoil it, but he is definitely worth a listen.
Be ready to think. So, and be ready to feel, be ready to know stuff, because how often do you get an inside of the music industry, and how often do you get like an intellectual thinker that's deep and explains these ideas that I haven't even thought about. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah, it's very interesting.
I appreciate how honest he was too. You could tell like he wasn't just like giving us words. He was saying stuff that he really meant, that he truly thought about, and truly like wrapped up in his head and explained it to us. So I really appreciate that. Before we wrap this up in a second, he did say he has new music coming out within the next 5 months, because I asked him about the 5-month plan, and he's got a couple singles coming out, and he may or may not believe one is an absolute banger. And coming from him, it has to be a banger.
We're literally...
We're screwed.
We are screwed. You're right. And you'll understand why. But we're literally like the insiders right now.
That was cool, yeah. I didn't expect him to like kind of like, hey, like what's going on in 5 months? Like, oh, I got new music. Like, thanks for telling us that, because now we get to share that with everybody. Literally. But I'm sure, hopefully, at least I was wondering when he was going to come out with more music.
I'm so excited because one of these songs is probably going to be fire. Yeah. If they're going to be fire, but one of them is going to be fire.
Yeah, and we'll reap the benefits or not the benefits. But all right, that's it. Wrapping it up now. We're going to transition into Sloan. Here he is. All right, we're back. Episode 16. We're thankful for that.
Sweet 16.
Can't believe we're actually here. Our guest is arguably top 10 coolest people in the world right now. Jared, I know you're zapped. We've been talking about this for a while. We've had his name on the list for future guests that we want before we even recorded episode 1. So this is awesome that we're here. Jared, what's swimming in your head?
I don't even know, honestly. I pretty much just want to get to the introduction, but literally because I just want to start talking. Okay. So just hit it.
All right. Our special guest today is taking the world by storm with his music.
his career has taken off so well that he is in fact ranked the second most popular person from Aledo, Texas, and not to mention he is currently ranked 17,644 most popular person worldwide according to famousbirthdays.com. During Sloan's childhood,
Very reliable.
During Sloan's childhood, when the kids in Aledo were learning how to win another football state championship, Sloan was neck deep in free plugins and GarageBand making musical hits. After his Aledo days, he found himself in Austin at the University of Texas to pursue his undergraduate degree. His first album, Fuzzybrain, took the country by storm while he was enrolled in school, and it wasn't much longer until he was performing at places like South by Southwest, ACL, the UK, and even starting his first North American headline tour. He's currently still in Austin, making music and passing out good vibes on a daily basis. We're pleased to introduce to y'all the one and only Sloan Struble. What's up, man?
What's up, everybody? Let's rock and roll.
Dude, Sloan pulled up out of the car ready to go. And we also greeted him with like 5 people, and I know that was overwhelming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we've broken the ice a little bit, but we like to break the ice a little bit more with a series of questions. And so straight off the bat, it's us 3 in the band. We're hanging. Squad's hungry.
Did you say in a van?
In the band.
Oh, in the band.
We're hungry. Want something to eat. I'm going on a food run. What's your go-to order at Cabo Bob's?
At Cabo Bob's. To be honest, man, I haven't like been in a.
And that's fine if it's not. I had this as a backup.
Yeah.
If not that, what are you picking? Your choice of food, where you want to go, and what are you getting?
Yeah. Okay. So Cabo Bob's, just like a fish taco burrito kind of thing.
That, though. Like we just had one open up in Houston.
Yeah.
And everybody that goes are like, it's good. I'm like, have you tried the fish? And they're like, what?
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that's a sleeper.
Yeah, it is good. But if I were to choose, I eat a lot of Indian food.
Really? I actually had Indian food the other night.
Yeah.
It was like a chicken tomato.
Yeah, tiki masala.
It was probably that. And
Probably.
it was like some saffron rice with it.
Yeah.
And it was extraordinary. And I think half the people at the table didn't know it was Indian food until after.
Yeah.
And I think they were like caught by surprise because I think a lot of people are like, Indian food, like what? Like different taste, but they're like, wow, that was really good.
Yeah, we eat a lot of Indian food on tour. It just is easy to please everyone.
Is it like a mission to find like the Indian spot on the road?
Yeah, we've had quite a bit of Indian food.
So what state has the best Indian food?
Well, actually, so like how Mexican food in Texas is like the thing.
Hey.
In the UK, like Indian
food. Really?
And so they have really good Indian food.
So you're going wild there.
In London, we just had like really good Indian food, but not Indian food. But on that tour, I got like really bad food poisoning from some pho. So
Pho's out?
Pho's out for the rest of my life.
Oh,
I can't do it.
It was that bad.
Did you have to push through, or did you like cancel anything, or did
I push through?
You pushed through, really?
So we were the support act. We were on tour with Hobo Johnson, and
that's cool.
You just can't like be like, okay, I'm not playing. If you're
so
like,
did you have like a vomit bag like behind this, like on stage or something like that?
Flu game.
No,
this was your flu game.
So the last 2 shows we had to play, I was just terribly sick. I actually lost 15 pounds. By the time I got back.
Donkey needs to lose 60 apparently.
So,
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
just
what
go eat some
someone told
pho
him. He
in
took
London.
it literally like he has to lose 60 pounds in 4 weeks, which obviously is not true.
Yeah.
But just get sick.
50 maybe.
Yeah.
Just get sick.
Donkey,
It'll
research how to
happen
lose
fast.
60 pounds.
Yeah, but
Don't do that. I'm just kidding.
But the biggest crowd I've played in front of was in London, and I was just terribly sick, and like I had no food or energy, and
How
so I
would
was
you
like,
grade your performance though?
apparently it was fine.
Did you drink a Bang? Do you ever drink those?
No, well I do, but you do? Not before that.
What type of environment calls for a Bang in your life?
Long drives, yeah.
Okay.
I think driving. I've never I don't know. I haven't before a show. Actually, I've done drink Red Bull, but I don't know. I try not to be
Is it
under any type of spell.
Is it more is it more like sipping on a Red Bull, or is it like coming out of the bullpen, chug the Red Bull, let's go type of thing?
5 minutes before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it kind of kicks in more towards the middle, and so it gets you through the rest.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, my next question is: you've got a house party or you've got a friendly get together, or you're just going to the studio to record later, what outfit are you throwing on? And I say this because I love the fashion.
Thank you.
I don't know if it's, something that you try to do, and it's just like second nature. You're just like, no, this is like what I like. I don't think much about it.
Yeah.
Or you're like, no, like I have a style, and I like try to look for things in my style.
Yeah, I think I have a style. Most of it's just secondhand, like thrift store stuff.
Yeah.
Straight up, my mom shops for me mostly. Yeah,
That's so
so
cool.
I mean,
she,
we're wearing stuff all courtesy of my mother.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I guess the moms are in.
so I don't know, just
That's really cool. So does she thrift? Like, does she?
yeah.
And just look for stuff?
She's very just thrifty and always has been. So she'll like buy furniture and flip it and sell it and stuff.
That's
so.
the most
That's
thrifty
creative.
thing I've ever
Yeah.
heard. So what are some of your favorite places to like thrift? Like it could be not only in Austin, it could be
probably never anything
like
in Austin.
states or like maybe even in London, like where you're like, oh my gosh, like these clothes are actually super sick. I don't know if that's
Yeah, I don't know. We've like kind of gone like to thrift stores and stuff, but I don't know. I think in like not big cities is the most fun. You'll most likely find something weird.
Yeah, honestly, this was my freshman year of college. I went to West Virginia University when I was playing baseball.
where the heck is that?
And we were playing in Kansas. And we were driving from, I think, Kansas City to Lawrence or Manhattan. We stopped in Topeka, which is the capital, but it's not a very poppin' place. There's not much going on. And I got like a super rad, like, beach Hawaiian shirt in the middle of the Midwest. But it was a great find. I was just attesting to like what you just said with like a small town.
It's because there's no demand for it. It's like in big cities, everybody's thrifting. It's like it's going to be more expensive.
Yeah,
so
yeah. The turnaround on vintage stuff now is not cheap. You walk into some places and it's it's like you're buying like a designer.
We've
shirt.
driven. We drove to go get shoes. Remember when we drove like an hour-ish to like a little shack to get some shoes?
Yeah, I'm a big sneakerhead, and so there was like a resale shop that also does sneakers, and so Jared was with me, and he was like, "Where are we? What are we doing?"
It was I also had a death attack because we had to pull over in the McDonald's and I had to use the restroom. Remember? I don't know why I brought that up, but that's completely. I think I had food poisoning from McDonald's. Well, there you go.
yeah.
Okay. All right. So my last break the ice question is: you walk into the most heavenly music store that's known to man. You've got the very exact literal instruments that all the greats have played in their prime. They're not models, but literally the instrument they played. You're allowed to pick one, take one, keep it with you, throw it on your wall, play with it, whatever it is, for free. What are you walking out with? And who?
Let's see.
And if you don't want to spend, say you get like a buy one get one free, you can take 2 or 3.
Okay. Man, I don't know. Like one of Paul McCartney's like Rickenbacker classic guitars. That'd be cool to have.
This list is never ending. I can tell. Like, there's probably so many different things.
Yeah, I'll just go with that.
And
Just save
while
time.
we're on it, how many instruments do you play? Like that's like a pretty like vague questions, but like how many instruments like have your like fingers like touched?
Finesse.
like can play?
I don't know, quite a few. Yeah, I mean, I'm not trained in any sense. I can't like read music or do anything. So, and I'm all self-taught. So technically, I really can't play anything. But I don't know.
Some
Just
musical
depends.
like expert say like you're kind of, I don't know. Would he say like you can't play music because you can't read it?
I'm sure. Yeah.
That's obviously such a big flex.
Yeah.
It is, dude.
Because you're probably better than them. You know what I mean?
It is.
It's all subjective. Yeah. Who knows?
I've had I don't have any like musical blood, but I guess my mom's half brother, my uncle, he learned piano, couldn't read it. It was all by like sound and like by watching people. And then I guess he just put it together. Didn't become anything, but like same thing. He couldn't read it, and I thought that was just like the wildest thing to just like hear it, see it, and just like put something together.
I feel like every cool person, artist, like has that, not like that same thing, but it's just like, oh yeah, like I just like threw it together. Like, I mean, I could come up like Tyler the Creator, you know, I could keep going, Frank Ocean, but like, I feel, because it's, you know, like you're not in a box. Quick transition.
Yeah.
Sloan, favorite Disney movie / like recent movie you've watched? Maybe you don't watch movies.
Favorite Disney movie is Luck of the Irish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I do remember that
Yeah.
one.
That's kind of
Holy
like
cow.
like a sneaky, you know, like not very many people would say that those are like
Dude, those
all-time
older
faves.
ones are so good. Did you ever watch like late night Cartoon Network?
Oh yeah.
Courage Cowardly Dog?
Weird.
Heck yeah.
Dude. I
Do you
was
remember-
terrified,
do you
but I
remember
was
the-
so gravitated towards like,
What are the
watching it.
names?
Yeah.
It made me feel like, I'm like a bad kid kind of.
The grandma and the grandpa. I've got them both.
The what? Courage?
For Courage, the Cowardly Dog.
What about them?
Yeah, what are their names? The grandpa and the grandfather.
Oh.
The grandmother, grandfather. Eustace and
How'd you remember this?
Yeah, I have no.
That's crazy.
Eustace and what is it?
You want to take a guess or?
No, I have no
what is
idea.
it?
Muriel.
Eustace and Muriel. Yes.
That is wild.
Yes.
That's the last name too. It's like bag.
Bag?
bag?
It's just bag.
Yeah, that was a weird show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like those is there like an underlying meaning behind all that, or is it like just drugs?
I actually watched a video on YouTube about it. It was just like one of those like nitpicky cinema like YouTube channels.
Yeah.
And it was about that show, and it was really interesting. Where like the goal was like nothing in the show was like perfect. Like, have you ever seen those videos online where it's like unsatisfying things like are made to make you unsatisfied?
Yeah.
Apparently that was like their intention. And then
Really?
the last episode is like really trippy. And there's like this thing that like basically explains it, that it's like you aren't perfect or something.
That kind of
intrigued
reminds
now.
me.
Yeah, you
I
should
wanna
watch
go,
it. You should
yeah.
watch it. It's like imperfection in Courage the Cowardly Dog or something.
That kind of reminds me of Rick and Morty. I don't know how much y'all watch Rick and Morty, but it's kind of like the anti-cartoon of like pushing the boundaries of like, you know, what like a cartoon like is and like the meaning behind it. But like these like literally children cartoons like have big time, like something like that, like deeper meanings that like we just watch it, you know, to whatever. But there's, I guess it's for the adults that are being drugged into watching it with their kids. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever.
All right. I thought we broke the ice pretty well. That was actually a really good conversation. So transitioning to childhood, and you can, you know, pick up whatever age you want to, but you're from Aledo. Parents, siblings. Do you have any brothers, sisters?
I have 2 older brothers.
2 older brothers, so you're
Yeah.
young gun.
Yeah.
What was that like being the younger brother?
Oh, I wouldn't know anything different, you know? I mean, it was great. Both my brothers are awesome. We're all very different people.
Cool.
So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it never really bothered me, like being the youngest or something. I think we all just had our own ideas of what we wanted to be, so it wasn't like a younger brother complex where I felt like I was in my older brother's shoes or something.
Right.
Because we also went to different high schools, so
Really?
that didn't exist. Where
All
it was
three? Like everybody, or they?
No,
them
them
two
two did. But my oldest brother is 9 years older than me, which like when he was my age, I was probably in like 5th grade. It's like you just kind of like,
Yeah.
you know, there's this big age. It's like we're close now, but it's like you
Yeah,
kind of
now
can't.
that y'all are more
like,
both adults.
Yeah,
But like
yeah.
whenever he's like in high school or driving, probably had his first sip of alcohol. You're,
Yeah.
you know,
Why did you go to that?
I don't know, just like totally different points.
Totally
in like
different
each other.
like times in life.
I have a buddy whose oldest is 31, 32, and the youngest is 14. 13.
Yeah, that's different.
You know?
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's absurd.
So when you were 13 years old, what was the coolest thing to do in Aledo, Texas? What was the coolest thing ever?
Yeah,
like
that
did y'all
was
have
actually going off that. I was like, what was the spot? Like where was the rendezvous for the weekend?
our spot?
And you probably, maybe you had your own spot or your own
Yeah.
friends, but you know what? Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say my opinion is probably not the most popular one, but Yeah, I genuinely have no idea. There's really nothing going on. I mean, like, football is like, it's pretty wild how much it shapes the social culture of the entire city, no matter what age you are. Like, high school football is like the thing.
So as you say that, our makeshift tripod is sitting on a stack of Friday Night Lights, the sequel, the series.
Wow.
So based off that, is Alito kind of like that, where it's like, you know, the Friday night,
It's all a football team.
the
It's
town
about the players.
is centralized around.
Yeah,
that game.
multi-million-dollar like practice field for the high school football team. I think the stadium sits like
an absurd amount, like
20,000 or something.
I think my college stadium sits like 2,000.
Yeah, and people like would tailgate at high school games.
Wow.
It's just like
yeah.
crazy. And I think Alito won state like 8 years in a row or something.
I was gonna
like,
say
That's insane.
It's crazy. So I was pretty disconnected from that.
Was there just like a bunch of big, like, I don't know. I feel like you hear about like Alito, Texas and all those like huge guys. I don't know. I just feel like it was just like crazy big people, and obviously like the football. Right. So our 13-year-old hotspot was we're going to say it on three. Ready? 1, 2, 3, the Maryland movie theaters. What?
You see, we grew up in different parts of town now.
Yeah, you're outside the loop. But we all went. We all went to the same movie theater. It'd be like 60 of us when we were like 12 or 13.
There was a.
Then you like run to different movie theaters.
Marble Slab ice cream shop.
Yeah, Marble Slab. Marble Slab was like intimate though. Like if you were going to Marble Slab, like it was going on. You know.
Leave him alone. Like
literally.
Get a kiss. That's
straight up leave him alone.
Did your brothers ever like teach you anything like that? That's kind of like stuck to you to this day. Like a brotherly lesson.
Let's see. Yeah, I mean, they're both just dudes. And
that's your way of dudes?
Yeah.
Dudes. Yeah, then
like,
I know what you mean.
The one that's closer to my age is training to be a firefighter right now. And so...
I live with a firefighter, and I know exactly.
Oh, nice. Cool.
That makeup.
Yeah, so that's my brother. I don't know. Yeah, they've just taught me to be a dude.
Both sides of the train track.
Yeah.
When you were growing up, were you a pest, or were you pretty are you like a listener and like an observer and kind of took in things around you to educate yourself?
Yeah, it just depends on the age, I guess. I feel like just being the youngest child, like you kind of have this attention thing. And so I kind of, that mixed with feeling like my interests and what I did was different than everyone around me. It was just kind of this weird like desire for attention and to be understood. And so that made me a good listener, because it's just like, a response to that is like, well, I want to listen and understand like how other people feel, so then I can like explain myself. But then again, I probably was a pest and like wanting attention sometimes. So I don't know. It just depends on the age.
Yeah,
it was probably the deepest answer we've ever got. Like,
no, I mean
this is
textbook.
That was a great answer.
That's awesome. How old were you, or at what point did your hands pick up an instrument?
When I was 10. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So when I was 10. I got guitar lessons at my church, so a series of events. Mm-hmm. I was playing lots of Guitar Hero. That was like a new thing.
Oh my God, yeah. Guitar Hero 3.
What level did we get to?
Guitar Hero 3.
I mean, I don't know, just the highest.
Were we expert? Yeah. What's the song? That,
Through the Fire and the Flames.
Yeah.
Got you.
Was playing a lot of that, and I was like, I should learn real guitar. Mm-hmm. But it just didn't translate from like playing Guitar Hero and the feeling that gave me to like learning worship songs.
Yeah.
So I was like, I want to learn some rock and roll. So I set down the guitar, played more Guitar Hero, took a couple years, and then just started learning on YouTube.
Cool.
What I thought was more rock and roll, but it was like Switchfoot, Reliant K, so it's still Christian rock.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know.
You found the medium.
Yeah.
I played Guitar Hero, never got as far as learning how to play, but I did get as far as going to a guitar shop and getting a guitar. And for some reason, I think I was probably like 10, 11, and young Tuck wanted a Flying V electric guitar.
That's what you want.
Yeah, and I think like now that I look at it, like what a terrible first guitar option to learn.
Pretty bad.
Like I think it was more of like a room decoration, you know.
I mean, when you're 12, that's the coolest thing
cool,
ever
though.
to have that like slash rock star feel guitar.
Yeah.
And so when you started playing, like did it click immediately and you're like, yeah, like I want to do this, or did it take that time to be like, yeah, I do like this?
Well, so a detail I kind of left out is my cousin showed me GarageBand around the same time I started guitar lessons. And so, I just kind of started learning how to build songs through loops and like Apple loops and like making beats and stuff.
Yeah.
Which it's pretty impressive that like we have the tools to be able to do that without knowing anything musical.
Right.
And so, I just kind of got obsessed with that and reached the point where like I knew all the loops and like I'd run out. And so I was like, well, I have to learn instruments if I want to make music. And so I've never really had like, oh my gosh, like I love the guitar kind of thing. I would say my main love is just like production and making an entire song.
So when did you start? Like what age? Like okay, so you said like 10-ish, like 12 area.
Yeah.
When did you start like singing? When did you start having to be like, okay, like I'm gonna have to like sing on like I have the whatever the track, I have like the sounds, but like when did like the voice come in?
Yeah. At first, I didn't really like want to. I just was making like EDM music, you know, like I was interested in how to make that kind of stuff, and so. I don't know, maybe like 14, I started listening to like Conor Oberst, Bright Eyes, like that whole singer-songwriter thing, and started to sing with like a slight British accent as a 14-year-old. And then it's like, I just kind of like find your voice and that kind of thing. So
Just like a trial and error.
Yeah. And then throughout high school, I was like in the worship band at my church. And so that was like my main performance and singing like gateway.
Did you have any like singing lessons per se?
No. So I'm not trained. It would probably help me a lot, but both my parents were singers.
That's
like
cool.
they sang in church, and they like actually met via this like country music show thing.
Really?
It's a long story, but so they were both singers, and so it's like kind of in my blood, whatever that means. But
That's absolutely that's awesome. So I guess what made you? I mean, I guess Guitar Hero, but like, was there a specific time where like you were levitated to music, like like this is awesome, or it was just like playing Guitar Hero over and over again? And you're like like I love this, like this is fun, like I like listening to music.
I think it's ultimately liking listening to music that really got like the obsession started. But just the ability to create something that's so emotionally fueled was like really therapeutic for me, and still is. Just kind of like I talked about earlier, like wanting to feel understood, and like music's the easiest way to do that. And so because all it is emotionally fueled. With most songs,
Absolutely.
So I don't know. I think it just became a tool for me to explain myself to other people, but also like to myself, because like a lot of times like with songs I'll just like have this thing I just like can't even like explain, and then once I write a song it just disappears. It's not like the song explained it, but it's just like I just when people are like I need to get this song out of me or something, like I know the feeling. It's weird, but
that's amazing. So the wedding that I was talking about with Cade, the guy that got married, Thomas, is an artist too.
I love his music.
Hey, watch your toes.
And name dropping. And there'd be times where it's like 1, 2 in the morning, and Thomas is in there putting lyrics together.
I still see the shadow.
Putting the lyrics to the chords and everything, and he's very wise. Like his words are very wise, and people say it all the time. He's wiser than his age, and just you explaining like your emotions and like kind of settling an emotion that you can't really speak, but like once you make a song, you're like, okay, like I feel like that went away.
Yeah.
Thomas, I've always wondered, like, because everything to him is like emotionally attached. I feel like whether it's about him or whether he like puts himself in someone else's shoes and sings about it. So
yeah,
I think that was always interesting, and I mean, I gravitate towards it because it just, you know, it tells a story.
Yeah, it's kind of a mix of being like hyper inspired and like hyper like sensitive, to where like if I really let myself, I could like just find meaning out of anything, which is like a blessing and a curse, because sometimes it's like I wish I didn't care, you know. It's like, why did that actually doesn't matter, right? But I don't know, that's just a thing that musicians seem to have.
So have you ever been like at like Taco Bell or something and been like oh my god, like, and had like an idea and just been like, this is like what I need to, I don't know. See, it doesn't even make sense to my brain, obviously, because like I'm not like musically talented at all. So are you ever like somewhere or like in an environment where you're just like, oh my god, like this was a great idea for like a lyric or a song, or like this is what I want it to sound like, or one of my old songs, like this is what I need to change, and like just like get up, like guys, like gotta go work on this like vibe, you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
I do know what you mean.
Yeah, I don't know if that could be hard to follow.
I think that very well could happen. It hasn't happened before, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm very critical of the things that I make. Okay. So
this might be fast forwarding a little bit, but when you're like creating an album and like going through like, I'm kind of like the initial predetermined whatever, like, are you going for a certain like vibe? Are you going for a certain feeling? Or are you just like kind of going? You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense.
Yes, I definitely go for a vibe.
Okay.
Yeah. As cliche as that sounds, but yeah, I mean, my goal is like, if I'm experiencing these things and like you feel like when I listen to music that it can like explain what I'm feeling, then like if I can do that for other people, that's awesome. So I just want to be conscious. If that's true, then like if I'm helping people process things in a positive way. Because I think there's a lot of music that does the opposite.
Like nowadays. The 2C slide?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
yeah, Jared, that was a little fast forward because we are going to dive into that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just had to.
This question's more directed, and you answer this how you want. Did you enjoy high school? Because we're moving on chronologically. Did you enjoy high school, or was it like the complete opposite? And if there were some battles there, you know, what were they, and like how have they shaped you to who you are today?
Yeah, I try not to complain. So
it's a good outlook.
I don't know, like I did enjoy high school. In a lot of ways I think I didn't. Cause yeah, I just felt pretty isolated. I went to like a small private school. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, I definitely like was just going through things personally. Mm-hmm. So it's not like everyone like bullied me or something, right. But I just completely had different interests and things going on. And, I don't know, it was just a weird time where I spent every day just like practically just me and Logic Pro X just figuring out like how to record stuff. And so, in a way I really enjoyed that and I'm thankful for it because like it's the way things go, you know? So I don't know. High school's just weird.
It is.
Literally for everyone.
I feel like it's, you know, you really like it, or it was just like, ugh. Like you look back and you're like, that sucked. That was weird. Like I think it's just like a time, like the age. It's just like you think you're mature, and you think you figured it out, and like, man, it's like a rude awakening. Like you get to college, and you're an adult, and you're like, wow, I really knew nothing back then. Yeah.
It's always weird when someone's like, I loved high school. It's like, I don't know.
Following off that, when did music start to pick up at that age? Like when was it like a thing where you said like you every day it was like spending time doing it, but like compiling music, making songs, completing songs, making an album, when did that start to like really, really go into effect?
Yeah, did you throw like a concert in high school? You know what I mean? Like, did that happen?
A couple, yeah. Well, so like most of my like friends and stuff came through church, and like playing music at church. And so kind of there were a couple times where I'd be like, yeah, having like a house show or something. And like those kind of people would show up, but not really like from school or something. Yeah, I guess music started picking up. Like I was making songs I liked like junior year or something. But I still even now struggle to be like, yeah, I'm an artist. Like, I don't really know what that means. But I definitely in high school was not like I think people would say like, oh, I was like the creative guy or like the guy that would like say something like deep or something. But I definitely wasn't like, yeah, I am an artist. I just always felt like I wasn't there yet.
Right.
And I still feel like that. So
do you think that day's gonna come?
I don't know. I kind of hope not, because it's just like, it's a humbling thing where it's like, you know, artists are just people. So it's like, I don't know what is so different. But yeah, I don't know. I think I liked my music starting when I was like junior in high school.
That's awesome. I appreciate you saying that too, because when we were talking about the podcast earlier and just like why we did it, there's like an underlying inspiration to this. Like why we do it is like, and why we want to get people in different professions is show people that like Sloan's just a regular guy. Like you're saying, like I'm a person, like, you know, I make music, like that's just like what I do. That's what my talent is. That's what my God-given ability is.
Yeah.
A football player that we had on, like he grew up probably differently, but like he wasn't on a pedestal or anything. Like we did everything and we had to earn everything we have. So I appreciate you saying that, just being like humble about it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, because being an artist is just being a character. Because like, think of the most, I don't know, profound artist in the world or something would be like
Cardi
David
B.
Bowie.
No, I'm kidding.
David Bowie, I don't know, like he's like a person that's like, he is an artist, like wow, like he's so creative, and like he was in character. It's like that was his thing. It's like he would play characters. So at the end of the day, it's just a guy playing characters. But it's just this weird mind warp where somehow ego can become like this thing. But it was actually just like a person named David Bowie who was like, I think it might have actually not even been his real name. But I don't know too much about him. But
fact check.
Donkey on it.
Yeah.
That's cool. You know what I like about music too, thinking about this and being sports background, you know how you have the dumb like greatest of all time, you know, arguments.
The GOAT.
But music, there's so many different genres, and like there's genres that are like still being created today in like their own right. Like you can't really like pick out an artist and be like, he's the greatest of all time. Like there's a platform where like there's the greats, but you can't be like, you know, this person is better than that person. Like you can't do that because like they're their own person and like their own type of
contradictory to what Tucker just said.
That's that's an opinion. That's a hot take for me.
Who, Sloan, are some of your GOATs? Like maybe like top 5?
Let's see.
Where just like
top 5.
You're just like, these guys are awesome.
Well, quick statement about artists, because I do agree
you
with
can,
you.
You can hit me with like, you can push me back.
This was a deep thought I had the other day. I was like on a hike and I was talking to one of my friends who's very much just like this way, just like talking about artists and stuff. Anyways, and I was thinking like what an artist is like a singular term. So you think of like, I don't know, Picasso, and like he's an artist and you see his artwork, but like music, most of the time they are like a entertainer. So like they're a singer. So like Drake has an artist profile, but that's not actually Drake's art. It's like a team of people's art. And so I think greatest artist of all time, it's like Frank Sinatra was a great singer, but like he didn't like write or like perform most of the stuff. So it's not like,
it's a great point.
Like a mastered song is like actually a artist's artwork, except for a few people. So Jeff Lynne, Electric Light Orchestra.
I was thinking about ELO when you were in London. Did you listen to Last Train to London when you were in London?
I did not.
Oh,
but
wow, that's the first thing I want to do.
So something people don't know about Jeff Lynne is like he was like playing every instrument, performing and writing stuff in the 70s. So like that's so ahead of its time. He was really creative. So he's a GOAT.
Great.
Kevin Parker, Tame Impala.
Okay,
great.
that was going to come up.
I don't know. Paul, John, George, and Ringo, I guess. The Beatles, they're the GOAT all together, in that order too. And I don't know, the last maybe be, I'd say Whitney Houston.
Okay.
Whitney Houston was a very, very incredible performer.
Do you want to hear something that's going to absolutely toot your horn?
Hold on. Thanks for the kind pushback.
Hey, hold on.
Appreciate it. That humbled me.
Listen,
I'm educated now.
I feel so educated. Sloan, listen to this. So we were listening to your album on the way up here, and it was me and Donkey, and I played Dear Friend, and the song started and finished, and Donkey goes, "Man, I love the Beatles."
How will Beatles vibe to it?
And so I was just like, I do love the Beatles too. I didn't know if he knew that was who was singing.
Like that was like a comment aside of like the song.
I don't know if he was saying I love the Beatles, just that song was the Beatles, but that's what he did mean. Yeah. So I guess that's the best compliment at like pretty much ever. I don't know.
Yeah, that's
like,
a compliment I was looking for.
That is a great compliment.
Donkey, did we find David Bowie's real name?
Yeah, it actually changed his name from David Jones to David Bowie. Robert Jones to
David Robert Jones is his original name?
1947, I guess. Yeah.
Interesting.
When was he born?
Let's see.
This is Sloan. This is his first day on the
You
job.
think he knows about Wikipedia?
Nice.
This is.
Do you know Wikipedia? Okay. I lost. Jared, do you have any questions while I read this?
What type of music do you listen to? Just like in the car?
Just depends on the day. Yeah. Was listening to some Dr. Dog on the way here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're naming some artists that like I don't know, but my Spotify is gonna be.
Yeah, remember them. I don't know. Yeah, it just depends on the day. Most of the stuff tends to be from 70s and 80s.
Okay. Do you ever listen to your own stuff?
Not in a non-critical way, no. Yeah.
Okay. So it's like non-critical way as in
Like outside the studio in the car, no, or because you probably listen to it on repeat over. You can take it. If you
No. I'm good.
You listen to it on like repeat in the studio, like
Yes.
trying to modify things, and like that's how it is with, like whenever I'm making videos for work or just doing this, like. I listen to the whole I'm doing the podcast now. I listen to the podcast now. Like, I really don't have any interest to listen to it again because I've listened to it so much. I don't know if that's outside of the studio for you.
Yeah, well, I mix my own music, so that's something most artists don't do. And that just becomes a very meticulous process where, it's just a lot of, like, details. Mm-hmm. And I just kind of have the ear for that. So once I'm done with a record, I just really can't listen to it. So I'm kind of getting there right now with my new one.
So on topic of like making music, what was the biggest learning curve? Is there a specific point in time where like you got the gist of like software and like making music and like hearing things and putting things together? Was like there a specific time or like year where you're like, okay, like I really feel like I've taken it to the next level as far as production?
Oh man. Well,
or is this just been like a gradual, just like better and better and better?
Yeah, kind of like I said with playing music, I really don't know if I know what I'm doing. Like I kind of just like.
It works for you, man. Like it works for you.
Yeah. So, I mean, I have like access to more gear now, which makes shortcuts. But at the end of the day, I don't really know if anyone knows what they're doing, but I think I've gotten more comfortable with like giving advice to someone else or something. But there's no like one way of doing anything. So
what software are you using right now? Are you still in Logic?
Yeah. So my I run in Logic. Yeah.
Okay. So Fuzzybrain was made on Logic.
Yes.
That's so cool. So was my prom song, by the way.
Nice.
Yeah, we'll show you that one later.
Yeah, that's whatever.
Yeah. So Fuzzybrain, I didn't have any like outboard or like external gear, or had bought, I don't think, any plugins. So everything that's in Logic
is straight. So there's no like copyright or stuff like that. It was just all straight from Logic, like all the sounds and stuff.
Yeah. So Logic is a digital audio workspace. So like think of it as a canvas.
Okay.
So like you can get a lot of different things. So like when you're in a studio, they're probably running something like Logic, but like the audio is being like run through a different like thing, like a Neve like mixing board, which is like very expensive. And so things can get different, but with Logic, I like just running straight into Logic and using what Logic had, which most people just think like you can't do. And those are the kind of people that probably listen to the album and be like, oh, it was made in Logic. But I don't know, it's like...
Definitely not me.
Yeah.
So talking about plugins, and first, for music noobs, plugins are like sounds or what by definition?
Yeah. What's up, music noobs? So
Nerds.
yeah, plugins are... Jeez, I don't even know how to explain in a really simple way. Kind of like a filter on a photo,
Okay.
kind of.
Yeah,
It's like taking audio and affecting it in certain ways. So there's things that are more necessary and crucial for having like a certain clean tone.
Okay.
It's like compressors, EQs, things like that. But then there's also effects. So those are more obvious to like any ear. But I don't know. That's kind of the simplest way.
No, thank you. And so I forgot what video I was watching of you talking about like putting things together and free plugins like you were saying. And correct me if anything I say is wrong, but like when you were using free plugins, and I guess you can buy some too. Is that a thing? Can you buy plugins?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So I guess using what you have and making that work is something like I appreciate, like just making it work, whatever, like it might not seem right to other people, but like the thought of like, I have to buy this plugin because it'll make my music better. Yeah. And like, I'm not even music, but I'm like, I don't know if I agree with that. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like being resourceful, man. Like just like use what you have and like, be creative.
The tripod?
Yeah, the tripod. Like I had to make it work.
For real though, but like there's probably a dude like who has a tripod that's still planning to record his podcast, you're doing it, So like I think you could hand, Jimi Hendrix the worst guitar in the world and he could play it great. But there is so many dudes I've met that there's just like, I don't know, with anything, it doesn't have to be music, but there's just this lie where like gear or stuff is going to make you better at a skill when it never really does. There are computers that can write songs, but like, you got to be a person with confidence in what you're doing and like drive.
You know what that situation reminds me of? It reminds me of the good old story of Sammy Sosa hitting acorns with sticks, and then he turned out to be like the greatest hitter of all time.
My whole
That's
life
kind of what
was like the equivalent to like baseball with
that exact what you said was exactly like baseball.
Coaches always told me it's the Indian, not the arrow, and it's not their special sharper arrow. It's the skill is within the person. It's not like your new bat. It's not your new glove that's making you play well. It's like it's you. Like, that's all it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so before you started making music, the way you listened to it, so like the way I listen to music is like I want to think I don't listen to it as deeply as you, or like I'm not hearing elements and like kind of separating them in my mind and hearing what's going on. So I don't feel like we listen to music thing. I'm just like, oh, this sounds great. Like, oh, I'm gonna keep listening to this because I really enjoy it. And then over time, I'll learn the lyrics. before you started making music, were you hearing things differently? Like, were you listening to different sounds and stuff? And elaborate as you.
Yes. I mean, it's very heightened now, but I was obsessed with just listening to details, and it was more like I'll find things still today, and I'm like, that's how they do it. And so I'm just obsessed with audio engineering. I don't know.
And going off that, do you hear any other like music that other people make and hear something that you're not used to, or that's different? You're like, oh, like what is that? Like I want to implement that, or are you like, oh, I love that, and that gives you like a creative motivation to like find a new sound that someone else hasn't made?
Yeah, definitely. I'm just hypersensitive to like when I'm listening to music, the moment like something makes me feel something, I'll be like, what was that? What element was it? Because it's all manipulative. Music is all manipulative. Yeah. It's like you're using certain tools and like weird things like with frequency that our brain reacts to. Yeah, it's weird. Like there's
this is insane.
I don't know if you know like 432 hertz. Does anyone know what that is?
We were talking about this.
Yeah.
Okay, when you listen in 432, it makes you feel better and it sounds better, right? Or is it
Spotify is like 440 or something.
Yeah. And like all the streaming services like Apple Music and Spotify are all higher frequency or whatever.
Yeah.
And so you can like look up on YouTube like a bunch of like the lower frequency like 432, and it like sounds better. It makes you and it's crazy. Like it's clearer and it sounds better, and it's you could probably explain it a lot better than I. Sorry, I cut you off, but it just that you saying that like fired me up because we were literally just doing that.
Yeah, well, all pitch and like any higher sound or lower sound is actually translated in frequency. So there's things that our brain reacts to and like makes us feel certain ways.
Do you actively listen in like 432?
No,
you don't?
No. I think part of it is like placebo, but it's like an example of
it's just cool.
Brains
to say,
are weird.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like trendy. I feel like if I was in a thrift store and somebody came up to me, I'd tell them I was listening in 432. Don't know what that means.
I wrote this down because I just want to compliment just like the skill you have and like watching those videos and like
thank you.
Taking different sounds, different riffs, looping them and putting them together and just like doing that and making them sound good. I think that's awesome. I think that in itself is like the most impressive thing someone can do. That's me. I'm just playing tummy sticks with you. Like,
yeah, thank you.
That's awesome. But because you make it look easy, so my question follows up with, what's the hardest thing about making music? Or it could be more directed, like what is something that you, not as a musical artist in a whole, but like maybe there's one thing that you struggle with more than someone else.
Yeah, it just depends on the person. And like there's just a lot of levels of from when a song's idea is conceptualized to when it gets onto Spotify. So like there's just a lot of different levels of music that most people take on individually, and I'm in a situation where I do it myself, so that puts different challenges in my hands, which I enjoy doing, and having that creative control. But I would say the hardest part is just like letting go, like, and being like, yeah, like this is good to go.
Like maybe like there's like afraid maybe like I could have done this better.
Yeah. Well, it's mostly just
after
like
you let go,
mixing notes. Yeah. And so just thinking, I don't know, I'm a perfectionist in that way. But I'd say the hardest part is just feeling like I'm making a respectable amount and quality of art where this is going to be received as cool and noteworthy. It's always easy to think someone else is doing something cooler than you.
So going off that, with Fuzzybrain, this is kind of like a Reddit sort of like I don't know what type of question this is. So with Fuzzybrain, this is like to be like a few part question. I'm just going to ask all the questions and you can answer whatever you want. So with Fuzzybrain, did you know you wanted 10 songs / did you make like 20 songs and cut those down to like the 10 you wanted / are there any unreleased bangers?
There's always unreleased bangers.
Yeah. So Fuzzybrain was not from the beginning conceptualized as a album.
Okay.
So it was more like I have these songs and they all kind of fit. I'll release them. Don't know what's going to happen. So I actually initially released it as 8 songs independently, and then re-released the last 2, Nicknames and Listerine, with a label. Okay. So the original album just had 8 songs and ended on Junior Varsity, and that like made sense to me. I still love the album, but yeah, I mean, I have a lot of unreleased songs.
And they're bangers?
Some, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, when you make a song, do you kind of know, like, out of that group, like, which one's going to catch the most love?
Yeah, well, the biggest part to me is just, like, you have to make stuff that, like, makes sense and is cohesive. Mm-hmm. And so I love to experiment, and, like, I have all different types of songs, and I've kind of started to like produce for other people. Cool. And that's been really fun and like awesome. Kind of helped me relieve that like desire.
What was the latest thing you posted with
Blanks?
Yeah, was that a
yeah,
that's
yeah,
awesome.
That was fun. But yeah, so Fuzzybrain was not conceptualized as an album, whereas this next one from the beginning is like, I need to make these songs make sense together, which has been honestly more fun, and I think it's just better. But yeah, we'll see.
I appreciate that you love your own album, because I feel like I've heard a lot of people are like, oh, my first album.
There's no way Drake likes the Tootsie Slide. There's no way. I'm going out.
Like looking back, you're like, it was my first one. I was young, like I don't like it, but like I appreciate that. Like, you worked hard on it. Like, obviously it's done well, but really, because I know people that are like, oh, like I was so young when I did that, but like I love like the one that he doesn't like. I like it, and so do my friends are like, oh, like why don't you play that more? And he's like, I just like didn't like it that era. For sure, yeah, it is strange. I kind of view Fuzzybrain like in that series where I was breaking down the songs. Like I just do things so differently now, and it's just weird because like. Songs really can just take a life of their own, and so I don't really listen to any of Fuzzybrain and like even think about it now as like something I made. Cool. And so like, Can I Call You Tonight is weird because that song is like had like 10 different viral moments where like it keeps growing. It's like in the top 10 in radio in Canada right now. That's so wild. And I think like number 3 or something, like in the top 5, I'm pretty sure, in the US. And it's like in the recording, I'm 17. So like in the recording of the song, I'm like 17 years old. Yeah. And so it's like, yeah, that's awesome and I made it, but it's like, it's just weird, you know? It's like, that's what I was...
I'm not that person anymore.
Yeah.
I've grown so much.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot.
And so it's really awesome. Like, I'm not going to complain or something.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to have fun when I play it because it's just funny. It's like it's like when I play shows, it's like I'm in a cover band of like this high schooler's song, you know.
So have you ever been in public and like heard one of your songs, or like been in like a store or a restaurant or something like and heard one of them?
Yeah,
that's really cool.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Uncomfortable.
Really?
Yeah.
Why was that?
I feel like people around me don't know what to do more
like
than
the people
myself.
The people that you're with,
and the power's in their hands.
Okay.
So like with me, it's like I can avoid it. Like I've heard that song enough times, but like they're way more happy for me.
Yeah.
And it's like,
okay.
I don't want that. I don't like that kind of attention. Yeah.
So you just rather them just like, you know.
Yeah.
Carry on conversation, like not act like it's going on.
So don't mention the song. So we're at Taco Bell, comes on. Don't mention the song, or be like, oh, like the song's pretty good,
Or
move on, or talk
it.
about it. You know what I mean? If those were your three options.
We'll talk about it. Just a little bit.
Okay.
Check it real quick, and then
Yeah.
just like get back to your Crunchwrap Supreme.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're still young, but you know I would call you a professional. I would say that you've been around the block, you know, in your young age of being a professional music creator, however you want to title it. Not use an artist because that years out.
Yeah.
But what advice would you give, you know, high school Sloan that's making music from what you've learned along the way till now? What would you tell him?
Oh man, what I would tell myself when I was younger. I mean, I really don't mean this in like a boastful or like ego trip way, but like I seriously haven't like made any mistakes. So like I'm not like Sloan, you should have. Like I've had a pretty level head since then. But I think, let's say like my advice to people like Sloan in high school. Is one, nobody knows what they're doing, no matter who they are. So yeah, really at the end of the day, like, especially with art, it's like nobody knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
Coolness isn't real. And yeah, just have fun. Cool. Just really make sure you're having fun, especially with something like that's a passion. It's like, if you aren't having fun, you should stop. Because it's just so sad. Like, I think music should be fun always. Yeah. And like especially the artists performing and touring, like, should really be like stoked by what they're doing. Because yeah, I don't know. I just think it's about having fun.
Yeah.
Speaking about stoked and speaking about having fun, can we talk about the tour?
Yeah. So,
are we there?
So I'm transitioning into like Dayglow and like what's going on.
Okay.
What's happening. Okay. First of all, you got a band. You got guys that play with you now, and I guess in the music world, that's cool. Your team. That's your team.
Do y'all have fun?
You know,
we do. Yeah.
Are y'all best friends?
Yes.
Are y'all getting there?
I think you have to say they're best friends.
Yeah.
Even if they're not.
We're all very close.
When y'all aren't like making music, like, what are y'all doing? Are y'all like hanging out and stuff?
Yeah, I would say so.
Like hiking?
Yeah. So the guy I was talking about earlier, his name's Nori, he plays keys for me. He's a good friend of mine. The band has kind of changed shape a couple times, just people in it, but everyone's been a friend and still is.
So I want to
thankfully
give them shout outs right now.
Yeah,
since we're talking about them.
Nice.
So throw your shout outs to the band.
Okay.
Because I also want to learn their names, but
yeah,
throw your shout outs as you see fit.
So current lineup, we'll start at the back of the stage. Brady Knippa.
The Chicago Bulls, like, theme song walkout.
Brady Knippa, he's on the, what do people call him? The Skins. Yeah, he's playing the drums.
The Skins.
He is currently on a boat in Alaska for the next 5 months fishing. He's a fisherman, so
Brady,
5 month fishing
his job
yes,
is a fisherman.
He sold everything that he has and is.
This is already the coolest.
Yeah. So
is
Brady,
he practicing on the boat?
I don't think so. But Brady, hope you're doing well.
Did he just leave and say, "Hey guys, see you"?
Well, does Brady have Wi-Fi?
I don't know. He's on Instagram like once a week. I think they'll like come to shore and do stuff, but I'm pretty sure he's like watching VHS. Like, that's his entertainment. So
that is the wildest trip.
Yeah.
I'll follow you.
Well, I'm excited to see who the second guy in the band is, because that was already crazy.
Yeah, he's probably doing the most exciting thing. Peyton, he's on the bass, slapping it. Yeah. Doing well. He's in Midland right now. Okay. He's working on a polo field, training horses.
Dude, these people don't disappoint.
He doesn't have any previous experience with it, so I don't know how he got that job.
That's so cool.
And he's currently renovating an Airstream. So any listeners who want to give Peyton a donation to help fund his Airstream, you can Venmo him at Peyton Harrington. I think it's just Peyton Harrington. Yeah, that should work. And on the guitar, we've got Colin Crawford. He is currently at home with the coronavirus. So, yeah. Look out for Colin's new future personal project called Colin's Music. It's going to be great, catchy songs. You're going to love them. And last but not least, we have Nori Swafford, Matthew Swafford, Cat Swafford, for those of you in Chicago.
Nickname guy.
Yeah, he's lived many lives before the one that I know.
He's got those artist. We were talking about David Bowie, the different artist things, like the. Okay, keep going.
Yeah, so Nori is in Austin. He's doing well. He's moving out this month. Everybody wish him a safe move. Just moving into a new house. You can check out his band called Baby. Recently released a single called Relax. But
Baby Relax.
Dear listener, you're going to have a hard time finding that song because when you type in Baby Relax on Spotify, there's a lot of other things that come up related to babies and relaxing music. So if you're going to want to find his music, this is what I've done in the past. So you're going to look up Baby Trouble, and then you're going to go to songs, and there's going to be a song called Baby Trouble by an artist named Baby. You're going to click on that, go to the artist page, follow them so it's easier to get to. Latest single, Relax. It's great.
Okay.
This is amazing.
We'll find it.
We'll find that.
Yeah.
Have y'all had a talk about how difficult
The Baby Relaxing.
he made that to find a song?
He realized
That's
after.
something that's kind of, is that hard to backtrack? And
Yeah, well, the thing was like, Baby is a great band name. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's all his thing and his friend Mackenzie and Raleigh, and then there's another guy.
Baby wasn't
But that's
taken?
the thing, yeah, Baby wasn't taken. So like,
most
oh
used
my
word.
gosh, we got to do it. But then there's probably a reason why it's kind of hard to find on the internet. But yeah, there's just a lot of babies.
Well, thanks for the shout out, the plugs.
Thanks
too.
for giving me the opportunity.
Yeah, no,
Love to
absolutely.
shout out my boys.
Dude, they're with you, man. Absolutely. So this is a pretty big question, but like, how would you describe like this journey that you've been on from like, you know, young Sloan to Sloan now? Like what just, and you can answer it very vaguely, but like, how's it been?
It's been very vague. Yeah, I would say it's been very strange, and exciting, and also just the way it's been. Yeah, I have no idea.
Sure. No, that's a great answer, actually.
Yeah.
So you've signed with a label, correct?
Kind of. Yeah.
A little.
It's kind of weird to explain.
Okay.
So I am independent. So I have my own label, basically, which more to come in the future on that.
Right.
But I'm signed to a distributor called AWOL, and they're awesome.
Okay.
It's called Artists Without a Label. So
Sweet.
Oh, that's hilarious.
yeah.
So when you did, I don't know if there was a signing or papers or documents.
Yeah.
But when it happened, did you have like a little like get together, a party,
Yeah,
friends, hang out?
in like February, I think I had a really crazy week where I was in. I flew to LA in really early in the morning, and then had 2 meetings with major labels, and then the next morning flew to New York, and for the next 3 days, like had 3 meetings a day with major labels. So I pretty much met like every label possible and kind of went through like all of those things. But yeah, the AWOL's just great. Everybody I've worked with has been really awesome. But yeah, I don't know. I guess an interesting story. When I did go to my most recent meeting with AWOL and the head of AWOL in LA, we went to this like, what's it called? You know, like the Impossible Burger, like the vegan like alternative. It was like the place that made it, and so it was this whole like Italian restaurant, and everything was vegan, and it was insane because it was so like indistinct, like you couldn't tell.
Yeah.
But it was like in a nice part of LA where artists tend to be. So like in between meetings, I just saw like a lot of people just walking around. It's just weird because that happens in LA. But I went to this coffee shop, just talking to my managers, and like James Franco came and sat down like right beside us.
God.
And
we love a good name drop.
but
So
yeah, at the restaurant, there was quite a few people. Who all was there? It was like A$AP Rocky and like his clan, like all of his friends, like came in and sat like
the A$AP mob.
it was all of them, literally, like the entire like. I'm not super familiar with like hip hop.
You're speaking his love language.
Yeah.
Right now. Like this stuff gets him going.
But they like all came in and I was like, what the heck? And then
Like, did they come in as like a squad? Like, 'cause
Yeah,
there's a
they
lot
were-
of
they
them.
were-
There's like 6 of like 5. One of them died. Rip.
Yeah.
But of like was it like their entire posse was like 40 guys?
Yeah,
It was, like,
they snuck in and went to like a back room.
Yeah.
And then there was this other like actress. Just one of the situations was like, who is that? But she was in The Office on one episode, like near the end, and that's what I knew her from. But she was like at the table beside me, and so the whole time I was saying like, who is that? Which is so crazy.
Yeah.
But and then when we were waiting for our Uber, standing next to us was who's like the most famous '90s rapper. Who was it?
I mean,
Not
you've got
Tupac, no, like
Ice
Tupac.
Cube, Dr. Dre.
It was like
You've got
Notorious B.I.G.
Well,
Is he passed away?
Notorious has passed away.
Okay, it was a name like that.
Who's still alive that's relevant from then? I mean, was it Nas?
It was yes.
Oh my
That's who
god,
it was.
he's literally the king of rap.
Yeah.
Like he created
yeah. So he was waiting
Illmatic.
for like a car like while we were there. And it sounds like I'm making up because I had no idea who he was. And so I was like, my manager was like, that was Nas. And I was like, who? Like, that's just crazy. And I'm like,
So wait, so there was this vegan restaurant that pretty much every relevant rapper / artist ever is at and just goes to.
on that night, I guess. Yeah.
Wow, I was gonna ask like 8 questions during all of that. So I think we hit the watch your toes moment of the episode. But like, if you ever think about like, oh, like I also got to meet like blank blank blank, you know, also just spit that out.
Keep in mind, I didn't meet any of these people.
But like just like being in their
presence.
presence is also still a check.
It was, but like you said, you're bringing people into the podcast, like.
Yeah.
Because they're just people, and like they just walked in, and like you just think like, oh, that's actually a person. But like, oh, wait a second, that's them. But you'd think your brain would process in a different way, like, oh, it's them, but it's like they're just people.
Yeah,
they seriously
are. They're going to eat. They probably got
they're
the
hungry.
same order you had.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay, well let's.
So it's crazy.
If I was in the same place as Nas and the A$AP Ferg, A$AP Rocky clan, I would probably be going ballistic.
Yeah.
So my brain might be a little bit
I got a
different.
follow-up question with like, you know, we're talking about these artists. My question is, what other artists have you gotten to meet? And out of some of those artists, who have stuck out to you, and have they given you any, you know, advice or words of wisdom or just like a pat on the back? And they don't have to be big names. Like you can just say like someone who's like really been.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've gotten to meet a couple people in like short scenarios. I got to do like a podcast interview conversation with Mac DeMarco, who's been like a big inspiration of mine. It's like weird. We have this mutual friend who like is like his best friend now or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was just really nice, and I've always valued like how just like normal of a person he was.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like just like really exciting and crazy, but I don't know. He just seems like he understands what he's doing. But yeah, his advice to me mostly was just like, nobody knows what they're doing. And so that was just reassuring to hear, where it's like,
that. Like,
yeah,
okay.
That's awesome.
yeah, because he like doesn't have social media and stuff. And I was like, how do you do that? Like, don't you have this like, oh, and he's like, kid, like, chill out. Like, it's cool. So
He's a music video worth watching.
Who?
Mac DeMarco.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Some trippy stuff, but like, I
Yeah.
think it's amazing.
Yeah.
I have some names that I'm just going to throw out there. Gus Dapperton,
Yeah.
Rex Orange County, and Tame Impala. Have you, one, got to meet / maybe been in the presence of those people / like those people?
Yeah, I mean, they're all great artists. I haven't met any personally, but Gus Dapperton and I are on the same label, and like kind of walk in the same crowd. So I'm sure eventually someday we'll cross paths.
Wow.
But I don't know if I'll ever cross paths with Kevin Parker. If that
Okay.
happens, that will be my ASAP Rocky moment for you.
Oh, that's
Okay.
awesome. That's
I'm
awesome.
glad.
Yeah.
And then playing off those, this is just like in a general sense of just like growing up, who's been, you know, a mentor or an influence to you, and, you know, something, if they have said something, what was it that has like helped you and stuck to you to this day?
I don't know. I mean, I have just really great managers, and really everyone I'm working with is just very like human and just like really focused on like making sure like everything's just like not just strictly like financial, like business minded.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the music industry is. I mean, like a lot. It's pretty disappointing. But
Yeah, I'm sure that's another rabbit hole.
yeah,
Tackle.
it's crazy. You just don't realize. But yeah, I don't know. I think my managers are just great, and they just give me good advice pretty often. They're just very like long-term minded, and they
Cool.
yeah just encourage me to think about
That's good to
long-term
hear.
stuff, and they push me in choices and directions that will benefit me long-term, which is
Yeah,
that's
That's awesome because I mean, there are plenty of managerial disasters and
Yeah, well, they've managed Young the Giant since they were, I think, younger than me. So like they started in college and
That's-
they
I
like
was just
discovered
talking about
them.
yesterday.
Yeah, they like discovered them when they were all in college, and they've just been like just great. Yeah, just great. But they're just a band that I have always respected and like really admired like how they've stayed relevant.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, a lot to my manager's favor. So
Heck yeah.
I've got a question about, okay, we said Parker from Tame Impala, but if there was one person, this is kind of like besides him, if there was one person on this earth that you would like to have lunch with, who would it be?
is this a dead or alive question?
We can
Or
go
just
both.
alive?
We can go both.
Yeah, I'll think alive.
Okay. We can go both. Though.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Fred Armisen.
Oh
Yeah.
Thank you. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I was literally my roommates and I have been on and he's not the main, but the What's Up With That SNL skit where is he actually playing sax? In that?
He's a musician. I don't
So
know. He's a
he has to
drummer.
be because I don't know if you know about the skit.
I don't.
Keenan Thompson. It's like a talk show and they have like 3 guests and the whole point of the talk show is, you know, in the middle of this talk show he comes out, say like you're saying something, you know, wise, and in the middle of it he starts breaking out to like a song and interrupts him every single time. But when he starts breaking out the song, a whole like entourage of people come out. And you should be on this.
Portlandia.
Yeah, he's a Portlandia.
Yeah, big Port. Okay, Portlandia.
What's up with that YouTube? What's up with that? But Fred Armisen and like Jason Sudeikis and a bunch of people will pop out, and Fred Armisen's on the saxophone playing, and I'm like looking at him, and I'm like, I don't know if he, because you know sometimes like on skits they're just like acting. Well, this man's like actually like on the sax doing stuff, and I'm like, I think he's actually playing an instrument, and like it's great. And so I don't, tell me whenever you got that out, but why Fred Armisen? I don't know.
I'm interested like to see what he's like in real life.
Okay.
I think he's really funny, and I think I have a similar type of humor as him.
Okay.
But I don't know. I'm curious like what his actual self is, because he always is just like imitating other people.
You think that's kind of like part of his persona though, is to like the way you're questioning it right now? It's
Yeah.
like, how is he like? you think he's kind of playing into it. He's like, I bet I have a lot of people like on their toes, like really have no idea like who I am really.
Yeah.
Other than like these characters I play. Because now I've honestly haven't thought about him in that, and like now that you say that, I'm like,
yeah.
I don't think I've ever like heard like an interview or like heard him speak other than being like another character.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's interesting.
Donkey, you think you could pull some strings on that one?
Okay, your first live show.
Well, okay. Then I'm asking my question first. Where did the name Dayglow come from?
Came from a song called Dayglow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
One
next question.
Next question. I'm kidding. And you were just like, yes, like I want this to be my like artist name.
Yeah.
Using the term artist, kind of don't really know.
Yeah. Well, I didn't want to like be like Sloan Struble because one, I just didn't really think it fit, and like I wanted it. Thank you.
Yeah.
But I just didn't want that to be like the thing because I wanted it to feel like a band, like be kind of confusing.
Yeah.
And just not have like this thing to my name. But yeah, I just liked how Dayglow sounded. I didn't want to overthink or have like a story really to the band name or something.
I do think like, especially like when you read words, like some words just like stick out like the way they look. I see Dayglow and I'm like, that's cool. It sounds fun.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm gonna like that music before I even like click on that name.
Yeah.
And the rest. But
thank you.
You want to hear a quick funny story about Dayglow? So I tell my parents that, hey, going up to Austin's weekend, we're gonna interview Sloan. He goes by the artist name Dayglow, and my mom looks at me and she's like, oh, where are you gonna do it? And I said Fletcher's house, and then she goes, do Mr. and Mrs. Lowen know that you're inviting a rapper over? And I said, Mom, what? And she was like, like they're gonna come with like a posse and stuff like that. And I was like, Dayglow isn't a rapper. I don't know, you might be. And so I thought that was a very funny story about
especially
the name.
Knowing his
That's
mom.
good to know,
That's
yeah.
great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
So
shout out, Mom.
So my question was like the first time that you played a live set. Take us back to the moment, the time, the setting, where it was, the feeling.
Yeah. So live music, I really just like did a lot of just like worship stuff. Yeah. So through high school, and I was just used to like playing music. But Dayglow, my first Dayglow show, I had just released Can I Call You Tonight as a single in February of 2018. So as a junior in high school. And yeah, I had like just released it, and I put together like a group of friends like I don't know, like the guy who's playing bass like kind of knew how to play guitar.
Okay.
And so
I love that.
he did it, and then my friend who played keys was like just my friend. I just taught him how to play the songs, and it was just like kind of a show, but like not really, but it was fun.
I mean, you put it together like at the end, like it happened. You did it, like you got through it.
Yeah, and then I did a lot of shows in Austin once I moved here, just like backyard shows and stuff like that, just with tracks. So it was just me and my guitar and like a keyboard that I would press and play all the other parts.
Cool. That's freaking sick. That kind of reminds me of it was just like his Shaky Gray's music video.
Yeah.
Him just sitting on like his tambourine or like his, and just like kick drumming it and while he's playing. I ran into that guy at a gas station once too.
Nice.
And he was like looking at me. He was looking at me. It was my girlfriend and I were waiting for a cheeseburger at Harushka's, the gas station on 6. I was 6 on the way here from Houston, and I think he was coming out of the bathroom and he was leaving. And
He probably thought you were Channing Tatum.
And I was looking at him. He was kind of looking at me, and I'd like to hear his side of the story. But he left, and he had like sporadic like tattoos on his arm. And I was like, that guy looks so familiar. And I think he's had different looks throughout his career. And so I looked up at like pictures of him, and I was like, yes, like that was Shaky Gray's. DM him on Instagram. A few hours later, he was like, yeah, man, that was me. You look pretty spooked. And I was like, Well, I appreciate the. I was like, dang, I wish I would have said, hey, see you at the gas station next time or something. Something wild like that. Crazy story. All right, I'm gonna transition to a few fan questions.
Okay. Let's hear it.
This first one is actually one of my roommates who actually slapped some bass.
Okay.
I'm gonna call him by his Instagram. His name's Joe, but at Joe Bamba. What's your favorite venue you've performed at, or top 3? And then he also added this on: do lyrics or melody come first?
Hey Joe. My favorite show I've ever played was at the Bowery. Wait, no, not Bowery. Barrowland Ballroom in Glasgow.
Ooh,
it was really cool. It was probably my favorite city I've ever been in. It was just really fun. And the venue itself was an old roller skating rink on the 4th floor of this like place downtown, which was a nightmare loading in.
Oh my gosh.
Because we weren't traveling really with the crew.
Yeah.
And when you're a support act, you have to get your stuff on stage quick and off stage quick, because the next person needs to go and like they have to go. Yeah. And so that was hard to go up and down the stairs. We were already pretty tired.
No elevator.
No elevator. No. It was a very old building. But all in all, greatest crowd for sure. That was really fun. There's some of that performance online, I believe. So
we'll throw it up. Put it over this clip.
Yes. Yeah.
Are we gonna go back? Is that a place you want to go back in the future?
Oh yeah, I'll for sure go back.
Headline this time? Did you say you?
Yeah. Well, I was supposed to, but there's a virus going around.
Yeah,
so, but. Yeah, that was really fun. And the lyrics or melody come first. Usually melody.
Cool.
Yeah.
Plain simple. Cool.
Hold on, I've got a question that just came up during that. When it comes to the crowd, this is a pretty big question. When it comes to the crowd, like, can you, are you looking at the crowd, like, / like identifying people's faces? And can you hear, and not really like hear the crowd, but are you like, when you're singing, you're up there and you're playing, like, are you like actively like thinking about the crowd, or are you like actively thinking about like singing the lyrics, or are you just like, like, I don't know how to describe that, but
yeah. Well, so actually in Glasgow, that was the first show where I I completely forgot I was even like singing the songs and stuff. So it was really fun.
That feeling is probably something you can't really like describe.
Yeah, it was weird because I remembered in the moment I was like, I don't even have to think about what I'm doing. So I just like kind of let go. That was really fun. But yes, you do notice faces.
Okay.
I definitely try to be like as personal as possible, and like, yeah, the lights, like it's pretty easy. So like there'll be times where I'm like, did you see that person? I was like, yeah, they look familiar. Like anytime I know someone there, I can find them.
Oh, really? Yeah. Especially like in that crowd full of like unfamiliar, like the one familiar.
Yeah.
Kind of like,
so do you have? We actually kind of went over this again. You don't have to drop names, but do you have like a super fan that like follows you around that's always in the front? Like, have you recognized somebody that you've been like, this is your 3rd time front dead center? You know what I mean?
I unfortunately haven't toured long enough, but yes, there's been people who have like traveled with us and like gone to multiple shows in different cities and stuff, and that's just really cool. Yeah, it's just crazy, and I have seen people. I'm like, oh, you're blah 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 from this, and so it's really awesome just like getting to meet these people. Yeah.
All right, this next question is at Andrew Reitmeyer, who is our research guy as well. His question is, is there a Tame Impala and Dayglow collab in the future?
Andrew, so I wish. I cannot confirm or deny, but I wish.
Stay optimistic.
Can you pull some strings for that?
Yeah.
I'll message him.
Yeah.
All right. This next question is from at Abigail Smith.
Okay.
Does mask kissing count as real kissing?
Hey, Abigail. No.
Okay.
Jared, do you have a rebuttal?
My rebuttal is, what does it count as then? We can go to the instant replay, but what? So is it just rubbing? You know, I don't know.
Is it sanitary?
I mean, I didn't ask this question. Yeah, well, you probably right.
But kissing isn't sanitary. I mean, so I don't think it's kissing.
I mean, it depends who you ask, and it depends who it's with.
Abigail, DM us your answer.
Yeah.
This last one. How do you say Megan's last name?
Wachholtz.
At Megan Wachholtz. What is your dream festival and or venue to play at?
Megan, good question. My dream festival. Oh man, this is kind of hard. I was gonna play a lot of festivals this year that were gonna be part of my dream. I don't know if I can really talk about it because I'm not on like the lineups or anything for the future, but Lollapalooza would be great to play. I love Chicago. There's like also other Lollapaloozas, so like in Argentina. I'm really excited to play like in Mexico. There's lots of different festivals that'll be like in Mexico City. I think there's one, gosh, I'm drawing a blank on the name. But that'll be really exciting. Fuji Fest would be awesome. That is in Tokyo. And I mean, obviously, like, what's it called? Coachella. I mean, that'd just be funny.
Coachella.
That'd be funny.
All American right here. Coachella. Yeah. And then I myself had a question, which is going to play into like the future. So besides continuing to make music, what are other goals of yours that you want to accomplish in your lifetime? And this may play into like the more production side where you've started to do that more, but is there something in music or out of music that, you know, you do want to achieve?
I think in music, I just like to stay creative and like figure out ways I can do that and help other people. That'd be really fun to like write music for movies. I've always been attracted to that idea, like, you know, like being on a soundtrack or something. So that'd be really cool. I think it'd be funny to like be in a movie. I'd like to act someday.
A little cameo?
I'd like to be a recognizable enough artist eventually to like be in an SNL skit. You know, like you play on SNL and you're in the skit. That'd be cool. But I don't know. I mean, other than like career aspirations, I'd like to be known as a nice person and like approachable. So
you're doing well with that,
I think Twitter agrees with that. Twitter loves you, by the way.
Yeah, we tried.
Well, thanks, Twitter.
We were gonna ask if you knew what your
Twitter clout.
Yeah, your Twitter clout, if it was good or bad. I don't know if
your
you checked
Twitter clout is phenomenal.
I'm gonna be totally honest. I don't even have Twitter. I don't like
that's what I was expecting.
Yeah.
It's okay. Yeah, we like to give your name, like any of our guests, a search in Twitter and just like.
Really?
It just tags.
I'll
like
need to
your
look
name.
at it today.
It says there's a
Jared was
few.
just trying to find, and he was like, can't find anything bad. He's awesome.
One of the best tweets that I saw was it was a screenshot, and it said, "Tag albums that have no bad songs." And Fuzzybrain was like one. It had like whatever thousands of retweets and stuff.
Wow.
There was also another one, not an angry fan, but maybe like a curious fan that is prodding for more new music, which is normal.
I'm one of those fans. Yeah. I'm ready to put some stuff out.
So we're starting to wrap up. Just talking about the future, playing off that, but. You're currently here on the podcast with us. For more recent in the future, what are you doing after this? I'm not asking that hang out. I just want to know. Like,
directly after this?
I'm just asking like how's your day look after this?
I don't know. Get some lunch. Head home. Mm-hmm. Probably play some Breath of the Wild.
On the Switch?
Oh yeah.
Oh, big Switch guy over here. How good are you at Smash?
I don't play.
Okay, that was what I was expecting.
Yeah.
What other games do you play? Or is it just?
I had a small moment where I was playing Skyrim, but no longer. That is pathetic of me. I can't do that. But Breath of the Wild is cool.
You gotta respect.
Have you completed Breath of the Wild yet?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I've recently got the DLC and just like doing all that.
Do I need to get the DLC?
It's pretty cool.
Okay.
There's some cool stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Ancient horse gear. That's awesome. Yeah.
Wow. So cool.
So you hear the 5-year plan, but I'm not going to ask you about the 5-year plan. I'm going to ask you about the 5-month plan.
Okay.
How the next 5 months look.
Oh man. I have no idea. Unfortunately.
Obviously, we're in a time where there's not much direction.
Yeah.
Not much formality.
Yeah, this was gonna be like the busiest year of my life. So it's really kind of just funny that like it was the complete opposite. I mean, in just different ways. I mean, I'm still like productive and like doing a lot of stuff, but in these 5 months, there'll be some new music out and moving in a new direction, and yeah, just hopefully things clear up more and I can start to tour. So
yeah, we want you to come on tour, man.
Are you gonna have any shows in Houston?
yes.
Okay.
Yes, let's go.
Okay. We're there.
And then this is like off music. Like, what do you do in your off time outside of music? Like, I mean, you just should. Like,
Breath of the Wild.
Playing that, but yeah. Like, what are some? You know, maybe I know you've said hiking.
Yeah. I love to hike. I like to camp when I can. I love to swim. Lately, that's just been kind of hard because all the water's so low in Austin and Barton Springs is closed. Why?
Have you jumped off the bridge at Lady Bird Lake? Do you know that bridge thing that I'm talking about?
I go right by it all the time, but I haven't. No.
Oh, okay.
Never crossed your mind to jump off of it.
No, there's a rope swing right by it that I go to. But
swimming and like hiking, do you find this as like kind of like a release?
Yeah, it's just like
ease of mind, or
yeah, I don't really think about much. But yeah, I don't know. I like to just be with friends. I love to cook. I've recently been cooking a lot.
Meal of choice if you're cooking? What?
Just breakfast.
big breakfast guy.
Great meal.
I'll make an avocado toast with an over easy egg every morning.
Yeah.
It's routine based.
Post it on your Pinterest.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, as far as that, we're wrapping up. I literally, it's called the wrap up. I guess like the story I do want to tell Sloan is when we reach out to him.
This is a great story.
So
we've got some stuff to clear up.
I was 1 digit off.
We got two
two
things.
I have a contact as Sloan Struble (parentheses) not actually Sloan Struble, and then I have the real Sloan Struble. And so the first Sloan that I texted wasn't aware that it was the wrong number at first. So I gave you the pitch, the proposal. You know, here I am, just to show you like I'm a real person. Here's a podcast, and in 3 separate texts, the sequence went, "You got the right idea." And that was like on my lock screen. And I was like, oh, he texted me back, "You got the right idea." And I was like, where's this going? Open it up. Next text. And I'm like puzzled right now. And I'm like, what? And he goes, "This ain't Sloan. Sorry, bro." And that was it. And I was like, man, I'm so sorry. Sorry about that. And then I asked him if he wanted a hoodie.
Wow.
And he was like, "I don't really listen to podcasts. What do y'all do?" And I pitched it to him, and then he just texted me back. So that was my initial. I guess our first meet was your alias, and so yeah, that I was like triggered, and then I figured it out, and then you got back to me, and I was like, I think this is a real guy. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. And like we were even like talking today, like before y'all got here, we're like, what if this is still a ploy? Like, what if he didn't
Wow.
show up? So, but thank you for being here.
For sure. Thanks for having me.
Do you have any questions for us? Do you want to blast us?
Hold on. I've got 2 things. Would be very interested to do with like a little carpool karaoke thing with us 3. I think that would be great. Also, if you have like a for example, if you have like a goal that you have, if you get it, I'll be your number one fan and I'll tattoo something of you, maybe Dayglow, on my body. For example, if one of your songs on your upcoming album or something like that goes like platinum, maybe the bar might be too low for that. I feel like you could do it. But maybe like triple platinum, I'll get like a Dayglow tattoo on me. Just wanted to put that out there. So whatever you think.
You're serious?
Being completely serious. I'm serious.
Yeah,
I'm serious. I'm being
You would
serious.
just put Dayglow on your body?
Yeah. What? It's cool. You got a cool logo. I'm being serious.
100%. Yeah, I will vouch for it.
Dude, so if you,
I'm excited.
Okay, whatever.
Dude, let's go.
Whatever you think.
I'm all in on
whatever you think. Like, if this album is whatever number one in U.S. or if this is some whatever the goal goal is, we will support by tattooing you on my body.
Yeah, this podcast is.
You don't have to come up with the answer right now.
No, let's do it.
Make sure it's a little bit of a push.
Yeah.
Because I believe in you, and so.
Let's see. If the
Tucker, are you doing this too?
if the second single that I release for the upcoming record
Okay.
gets top 5 in the first week.
In the world, U.S., in the just top 5.
US.
Okay. Oh wait, that's kind of soon.
No, I love it. I love this.
Okay, fine.
Like we have it right here. Like, let's go.
Okay, deal.
Jared, do you have any other?
Wow. Are we in on that? Are you in on that?
Yeah, you can probably talk about it.
Okay, fine, deal. So not the first, but the second. Is the second one a banger? Do you already know it's gonna be?
Dude,
top
he will
5?
let us know. Like, he will let us know.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have any questions for us? And it could be going off that, but any questions you want to blast us with? Give you the opportunity to take the mic, even though you've had
You could
one
give
the
some
whole time.
shout outs. You could.
But then following that, shout outs, anybody, everybody.
Already shouted out the band. I don't know. I mean, shout out to my parents. They're on a flight right now to Aspen. Just wishing them safe travels. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm good.
Shout out to Strubles.
It's been a fun time though. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And then anything, I mean, you said next 5 months, some new music, so fans, be looking out for that. Hopefully we get back on tours, start going out, going back to LA, maybe run to Fred Armisen there.
Oh yeah.
But Jared, do you have a sign off? Do you have anything
Man,
else that's
thanks for
lingering?
coming, Sloan. This is awesome.
Yes.
It's so much fun. This is great.
This is
Appreciate
sick.
you a lot.
All right, that's it.
Awesome.
Thanks, Sloan.
Yes, thank you. My memory is not like